All right, here's the second part of the notes. So there's a lot of definitions here, and I know it seems like a ton of writing, but I promise you the reason I want you to write it down is just to keep you busy. It's because writing it will help you process it and remember it. It gets it into your brain. So I typed it up so you don't have to worry about reading my chicken scratch, but I am going to talk about each one of these. So the first one, EFT, is an acronym. It stands for Electronic Funds Transfer. So, all of the different ways that you can spend or transfer money, like Venmo's a way to transfer money, Zelle, different things like that. Different credit unions have different forms. But it's just an electronic transfer of funds. Also, one more thing I want to mention, you are welcome to pause this video and write down these definitions. Take as long as you need. I know not everybody is a speedy, fast writer. That's okay. Go at your own pace. Okay, the second one, overdraft protection. So overdraft is a bad thing. It's when you don't have enough money in your account and you write a check and then it'll bounce. So if you sign up for overdraft protection, the bank will pay the check even though there are not enough funds. Now there's a fee associated with this, but it might end up saving you some money in the long run, so you're not paying a fee to the bank and also a fee to the person who wrote the check and all of those things. So some people will elect to sign up for overdraft protection. Now, speaking of fees are just money that the bank charges to manage the account. Now, there are ways to avoid fees depending on what kind of checking or savings account you're setting up. Typically, if you are willing to always have a certain amount of money, a minimum balance, then you can avoid some fees. And it varies depending on what account. But that's definitely a question you want to ask when you're signing up with a bank. Hey, what fees are associated with this checking account? And are there any ways to avoid the fees? Now, minimum balance, that's what I was talking about with the smallest amount of money in an account without charging a fee. So you want to ask, what is the minimum balance? How much money do I have to have in my account to avoid fees? Now, interest can sometimes be good and sometimes bad. Now, if you have an investment, interest is great because it's money the bank gives you. It pays you for the investment. Now, if you have a loan, interest is not so great because now you are paying money on the loan. You're paying the interest on the loan. But interest is, we'll talk about this a ton in this class, but it's just a percentage of money. A bounce check, that's bad, right? That's what you want to avoid with overdraft protection. But a bounce check happens when there is not enough money in an account to cover the check written. You write a check, there's not enough money, it's going to bounce. A stock dividend, that's good. Stocks are things that you own. That's an asset. And a stock dividend is money earned on the stocks that are owned. A paycheck, that's one you're probably familiar with, at least I hope so. It's money received from a job. That's your paycheck. Now, cash, also probably familiar with this, although it is definitely becoming less common. Cash is the physical, you can hold it, form of money. Not like a credit card, cash, like dollar bills. A rebate check, those are kind of interesting. Rebates, a lot of times, are a marketing strategy where you'll buy something and you think it's on sale because there's a rebate where you can get money back for buying the item. I think it's a little shady, but it's a sales tack. Anyways, a rebate check is money given back from a business after purchase. So you got to pay for it first, send in for the rebate, and then they will issue you a check back. Debits in an account, that's money that comes into an account. Credits, the money goes out of an account. So a lot of times if you're balancing a checkbook, you'll talk about debits and credits. Debits are money that's coming into, your paycheck. Credits are money that goes out, your bills. And I know it doesn't really seem it doesn't match what you think it would be, but I promise you this is how it works. Debits come in, credits go out. Okay, so lots of vocabulary. Math of personal finance is filled with vocab. Some of it will be super familiar. Others, you'll just have to kind of learn it as we go. But that's great because math's all about learning. All right, so we're going to look at a couple of examples, maybe just one actually. And we're going to talk about checking accounts today. So here's a scenario. We're going to use this deposit slip and we're going to fill it out. to help Allison find her current balance. So we're going to pretend like we're Allison and we're working at a bank, or we're going to the bank for her. So it says Allison currently has a balance of $2,300 in her checking account. She deposits a $425.33 paycheck, a $20 rebate check, and a personal check for $550 into her checking account. She wants to receive $200 in cash. How much will she have to her account after the transaction? Okay, so this deposit ticket that we see right here, this is found in like the very back of a checkbook. There's a few deposit tickets. And here's like the fancy things like the bank's routing number, your account number, all those good things. So a deposit ticket up here will normally be the person's name and address. Now, all we know about this is her name is Allison. I'm just going to go ahead and fill this in and say it's Allison. And this would like already be on the deposit ticket. Date, let's go ahead and pick a date. Right now, it's August 7th, 2025. Probably not right now for you, but that for me, it is. And now we're going to sign here for cash received if required. Now, is she going to get any cash back? Yeah, she is. She wants to receive $200 in cash. So go ahead, forge away, Allison, boom, there's her signature. Okay, now let's fill out the other stuff. So her cash, now up here, this is her cash received. That's that $200 that I already filled in. I'm just going to go ahead and put it there now while I'm thinking about it. So this column right here is the dollars, $200.00. And that's the $200 she wants in cash. Okay, now let's break down the rest of it. So we know her current balance is $2,300. I'm not going to write that anywhere on my deposit slip because the bank knows how much is in her account. But it does say that she deposits a $425 paycheck. Now, her paycheck, it's a check, right? So I'm going to write it here in the list check singly. So $425.33. A $20 rebate check, because she got a rebate, so $20.00, and a personal check for $550. So $550.00. She wants to receive the $200 in cash. How much will she have to her account after the transaction? Now up here, this would be if she wants to like deposit some cash. Maybe she has some extra money laying around her house. It didn't tell us that, so we're just going to leave that blank. Now we're going to total this, meaning add in your calculator. So if we add all that together, we will get $795.33. Okay, so there's the deposit ticket. That's what she'll drop off at the bank. So let's go ahead and talk about her current balance. This is for us. So remember how she started with a balance of $2,300? What's her balance after the deposit? Ooh, I missed something. My mistake. Okay, we got to go back here. Sorry. I looked at the wrong part and I forgot something. Okay, so right here, her subtotal. This is important. This is where we want to add, because that's all of the money that's going into her account. So $425.33 plus 20 plus 550. Her subtotal is 900. I'll write it in black so we can see it. $995.33. And then less means we are going to subtract the $200. So $995.33 minus 200, that gives us our total. That's $795.33. My mistake, I apologize. Okay, so now Allison's balance and deposit. So remember how her current balance was the $2,300. We are going to add her deposit, how much money she's adding to her account. So $795.33. If I add those together, I will get $3,095.33. Remember to put your dollar sign out front. And there's our answer. Okay, so a couple of things to know about writing a check. Some of you Maybe you write checks all the time. I don't know. Others of you have maybe seen it. So just want to go over it a little bit because sometimes you have to write a check. So if we are writing a check, a couple of things I want to point out to you. Here's the number of the check. Up here would be your name and address. It comes pre-printed. This is your bank routing number. Didn't really mean to erase that, but oh well. And then your bank account number and your check number. See the 1025 matches right there. Okay, so go ahead and plug in your name and address. Feel free to, fib a little bit. One thing you want to keep in mind when you are writing a check, though, is you want to write in blue or black ink. So I'm going to write my name, Erica, all red, if you didn't know that. And then my address, right there. Okay, now I'll write today's date. For me, it's August 7th, 2025. Pay to the order of. Now it told me your challenge, if you choose to accept, write a check to the IRS. So I'm going to write IRS in the amount of 2,000. So see, I already got the dollar sign. So 2010. I wouldn't write commas there. Just keep it as digits. 0.32. So that's the easy part. Now this next big long line, you get to write it out in expanded form using words. So this is 2,010 it already has the dollars, so I'm just going to write 2010 and 32 out of 100. That's 32 cents. It's 32 out of 100. And then this memo right here, this is just a note for yourself to remember, hey, why did I write this? And it told me, oh yeah, this was for my taxes in 2023. Whoops, a couple years late. And then here is my signature, except for it's not really, but there it is. So that's how you would write a check. Couple of ways to avoid writing checks. Sometimes there's fees. Sometimes I feel like there's more fees if you use things like Venmo. I feel like a lot of times people will charge you a fee, but they won't if you write a check. So, just ask. But there's lots of different options. Credit cards, debit cards, all good things. So anyways, there's your video. You should be ready to do your practice.